What's up, everybody? My name is RaisorBlade, and today I just saw the 2017 live-action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, based on the animated classic of the same name. So, yeah, as you can see, I have the original animated film right here on VHS. Kind of hard for you to see, isn't it? Yeah, you have to work with that, won't you? My bad, sorry. The light's not good. But yeah. Before we talk about the live-action adaptation, I should probably talk about how I feel about the animated film. And personally, I love it. I think it is a fantastic film. I think, honestly, this is probably my favorite Disney film ever, honestly. Like, I know people love Fantasia. I know people love Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I understand that. Fantasia is a beautifully animated story that doesn't need words or anything like that. It's just music and animation. People love Hunchback of Notre Dame because of how dark it is. But even then, I have my own personal gripes with those problems. For one, with both of those movies. I love Fantasia. Don't get me wrong. I love these movies. I'm not hating on them. I just have my own little gripes with them. They're most nitpicks or whatever. But with Fantasia, I feel like I love it. Don't get me wrong. But I kind of prefer movies that have one story rather than a bunch of mini stories. And that's what Fantasia really is. Again, not saying Fantasia is a bad film. I prefer movies rather than shorts. And Hunchback of Notre Dame, again, I love it. The music is great. The animation is beautiful. But I think sometimes the pacing is a little too slow. I feel like some things you could probably cut out or maybe speed up a bit and it'd be better. Plus, there are the gargoyles. The gargoyles, excuse me, they're very annoying. I just don't like them. So... But with Beauty and the Beast, I honestly have no real problem with this movie. I can't really think of anything I have really wrong with it, per se. I know people will probably point out the stuff in it, like the Stockholm Syndrome, the fact that the Beast was probably 11 years old when he was turned into a beast and stuff. And the fact that he doesn't have a real name. They just keep calling him Beast by the end of the movie. If you ever look it up, you'll find that his name is Adam. His real name is Adam. But yeah, when you overthink things, it's kind of like Frozen. When you overthink these sort of things, you got to remember it's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale that's not meant to be overtly thought. The story is meant to be very simple. That's meant to be what's enjoyed about it. The story is pretty much simple. A prince was a dick to an old woman who was really a sorceress. The sorceress decided to punish him for being a dick, so she turned him into a beast, and only true love can break the spell. And that's pretty much it. And yeah, like I said, I do think this is a fantastic film. The animation is absolutely beautiful. The voice cast is top-notch. The singing is beautiful. The songs are unforgettable. The characters are unforgettable. The animated film is a perfect film. It's probably one of Disney's greatest movies, if not their magnum opus. And it deserved that Best Picture nomination back in '91. So, with that being said, we gotta remember, the animated film was nominated for Best Picture, which for an animated film, that had never been done before. So the fact that Beauty and the Beast is considered to be one of the greatest films of all time, you gotta realize the live-action film has a lot to live up to. So it makes perfect sense that the live-action film is nowhere near as good as the original animated film. It makes perfect sense. The problem is... and I'm sure a lot of you will probably disagree with me, but I didn't like the movie. I didn't like it. Not only as an adaptation, but as a movie itself. It just didn't feel right. I mean, okay, so where do I start? Okay, so obviously with the live-action adaptation, there are bound to be some changes to the original source material. Now that's perfectly fine, and some of these changes I actually do kind of like. So I'll go ahead and start with the things I do like with this movie. One, when the rose falls apart, with each petal falls, the castle begins to fall apart. And the inanimated characters like Luminaire, Get Cogsworth, all that stuff, they begin to turn more like objects. They begin to act more like objects and stuff like that. They lose more control of their bodies. They grow more appendages or whatever. I like that idea. I do like that idea. It's a very nice idea. I do like that a lot. Let me scoot up a bit here. There we go. Much better. All in all, it's that's a good idea. Two, I like what they did with LeFou. Not the gay thing. I'll get to that in a second, alright? That has been pissing me off for the last week and a half, alright? I will get to the gay thing in a second. But aside from that, I like what they did with LeFou. In the original animated film, LeFou was often seen as just kind of a comic relief character. That's all it really was, per se. he's often kind of belittled, humiliated, which kind of got a lot of people upset when they announced the whole gay thing with LeFou and stuff like that, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah. But in this movie, he's actually treated with a lot of respect. Like, a lot of people do respect him. Even Gaston, to an extent, respects him in some small ways. I mean, granted, Gaston's still an asshole to him as you expect him to be, but, to put it mildly, yeah, LeFou is treated with respect by the whole town. A lot of people look up to him. And yeah, he even somewhat gets a bit of redemption in the end of the movie. I won't give it too much away, but it is kind of nice to see. So Josh Gad does a good job. So yeah, I will give that much. The gay thing. I'm going to talk about the gay thing now. I got to get that out of my mind because it's pissing me off. It's not a big deal. All right? It is so little a thing. Like, okay, so obviously the big thing was LeFou is gay. And yeah, he's gay, but I mean, like, it's not a big deal. I mean, okay, he's obviously kind of crushing kind of hard on Gaston for a bit. It's only a very subtle hints, like a few hints here and there. Like, they never flat out say it, obviously. Then the end of the movie comes in, and LeFou kind of figures out Gaston's a bit of an asshole. And when the film ends, again, not giving anything away when I say this, LeFou meets another guy and starts dancing with him. And that's it. That's really about it. That's really all there is to it. I mean, like, a lot of people are probably going to hate me for saying this, but I think it's a dumb idea to make LeFou gay. Not because the fact that being gay is a dumb thing. No, it's the fact that all I saw this was as Disney just trying to kind of, I don't know if it was Disney themselves, the director of the movie, but I feel like, again, they gave it to a character named LeFou, who in France, the French language literally means the fool. I don't know. Before seeing the movie, I was upset because they're giving it to the character that's the comic relief, that's constantly berated, humiliated, made fun of, beaten up. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. When the funny thing is that who they should have made gay was Cogsworth. You can't see him, can you? Well, there's Cogsworth right there, the clock. They should have made him gay. You know why? Because, I can't remember who voiced him. But, I know who voiced him in the live-action film, but the live-action voice actor in this movie is Ian McKellen, who is gay. He's gay in real life, yes. But another thing is, in the 1991 animated film, the voice actor for Cogsworth was also gay. It's like, my God, Disney, you missed a great opportunity here. Cogsworth is the only character in both of these movies who was played by a gay people. Like, he was played by a gay person in the 91 film, and he was played by a gay guy in this movie, too. So I'm like, movie, you missed a great opportunity. You could have really done something with that. And plus, in the animated film, Cogsworth definitely has a lot of gay mannerisms. Like, he kind of sounds gay, he just kind of sounds gay to me. I don't know, he feels like it. It feels like he could have been a really good gay character. Now, I'm probably just stereotyping, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying Cogsworth was a bad character because he acted gay or nothing. He was a great character. He was funny. He was meant to be the comic foil to Lumiere and stuff like that. He was a great character. So if they made Cogsworth gay, I wouldn't have a problem with it. In fact, it would make sense because he was played by two gay people. But instead, they gave it to the comic relief. Now, again, I'm not as upset because, like I said, I like what they did with LeFou because he's not a complete embarrassment anymore. He's not an embarrassment. They don't beat him up or humiliate him anymore. So, again, I can tolerate it. I saw it as pandering. I saw that as progressive pandering. Like a lot of movies these days love to throw a gay person here and there. But, like, I don't know. After watching Steven Universe, I can never look at movies the same way when they say, yeah, we have a gay character in our movie. We're being real progressive. I'm like, that's great, but what are you going to do with those gay people? Are you really going to make them gay characters, or are you just having gay people in your movie to say, I had a gay person in my movie? Because after watching Steven Universe, like, having the fact that the main characters are gay, one of the main characters in the show specifically, one of her main motivation is her romantic feelings for another person, or Gem, technically. I won't give too much away with that show because it's a great show. You guys should totally see it. I won't give anything away. But if you know Steven Universe, you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. You know what she's going through. You know everything. You know everything. It's like, it's the same problem I had with Moana. Like, okay, Moana was a good movie. I saw it in theaters a few months ago. But, like, one thing that pissed me off was the fact that a lot of people built up the fact that Moana had a mom. I'm like, yeah, Moana has a mom. Her mom's not dead this time. We have a Disney princess who actually has a mom this time. Okay, Merida had her mom, and the film actually put some focus on their relationship. So even though Brave wasn't that great of a movie, it at least had the balls to do that. Moana, even though her mom was alive, she's in it for like 2 minutes, so who cares? Like, seriously, if you're going to make a big deal about Moana's mom being in the movie, have her be in the movie. Don't just shoehorn her in for the sake of saying, yeah, our princess has a mom. It's the same thing here with Beauty and the Beast. Don't have a gay character in your movie just so you can say you have a gay character in your movie. That just pisses me off, and it's just pandering to progressives everywhere. Saying, oh yeah, we're being real progressive. We're not homophobic bastards at all. I'm like, movie, you don't have to have a... No one was insinuating you were homophobic at all. And it's just... It's stupid. It's so dumb in my opinion. I hate it when movies do that. Like I said, if you have gay people in your movie, that's fine, okay? But don't make a big deal about it like this movie did. Like, come on, just like, get over it. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight anymore. It's the 21st century. Get the fuck over it. There's more to gay people than just being gay. Like, seriously, just like there's more to black people than being black, or there's more to fucking women than being women. It's the 21st century. Grow up! Alright, I got that out. Sorry, I'm gonna take a drink real quick. Oh, God. Like I said, I've been holding that in for a whole week. I had to get that out of my system. But, yeah. But anyway. But like I said, that's not something that ruins the movie, really. Just kind of something that made me roll my eyes. But trust me, this film has plenty of issues with it. I should probably go ahead and get started with the actors. Yeah! Okay, so they're not bad, but they're definitely flat. Like, okay, one thing that these actors in this cast and these characters are really lacking is charisma. It feels very much like these actors are just reading lines, and that's really it. You never really feel like these characters are, you never really feel like these characters are these characters. You see the actors. Like Emma Watson, for example. Now, she's a great actress. I do enjoy her as an actress. She's a great person, too. But I don't think she was really the right person to be cast as Belle. Alright? Again, not her fault. It's just casting. But I think there's just something about her. It feels like she's too cut and clean. Like, Belle was pretty, yeah, she was beautiful on the inside, sure, but there was something always about her. Like, Belle, it's herself. Like, okay, who was Belle? Belle was beautiful, yes, but she was weird, okay? She loved to read in a world that women weren't supposed to read. She wanted adventure, to go out in the world and see everything. But another thing that was important was the voice actors made her sound like she was really passionate about that. Emma Watson doesn't really sound passionate in this role. It just sounds like she's reading the lines, and that's about it. And that's the problem I have with a lot of these characters. It doesn't feel like any of these actors are giving these characters life. It feels like they're just actors reading off a script, and that's really it. And which brings me to another issue, the pacing of the reading of the lines. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, but I'll try and put it as an emphasis for you. In the animated film, this is when Belle went into the left wing of the castle for the first time and found the rose. When she walks in, the beast sees her and jumps in front of her and then jumps to protect the rose and takes a second to look back. Like, he's like, what are you doing here? Like, he's very slow. Like, he just stops to take a minute, and it's menacing. Like, you feel like he's a very menacing character. But in the live-action film, he jumps down and he says, what are you doing here? Like, what are you doing here? You know what you could have done? Get out of here, get out. And it's so fast. It's just so fast. It feels rushed, and it's like, it never takes a minute to sink in really what's going on. Like, and that's the problem I have with these lines. Again, I feel like they're just reading the lines, and that's it. Like, this film never takes a minute to pause and let whatever happens to sink in. Like, the pacing is too quick, and it never sinks in what's going on. Another scene I had with this problem was near the end of the movie, where Belle is looking, it's after the ballroom scene, where Belle is looking in the enchanted mirror and stuff like that, and then she's looking in the mirror and sees her father is being arrested, by everybody. Like, yeah, in the original animated... That's one of the few changes they made in this movie. In the original animated film, Maurice went out in the woods to look for Belle, but in the animated film, Maurice is straight up just getting thrown in jail. I won't tell you about the circumstances that led to that situation, but I'll just say, yeah, he's straight up already getting arrested for what's going on. But in this scene, like I said, in the original animated film, after Belle was saying, my father is in trouble, he might be dying, Beast actually turns to the rose for a second. It actually stays there. He's staring at the rose, and it takes a second. Like, it doesn't just, like, take... No, I don't mean just 1 second. I mean it takes a few seconds. He's staring. He's contemplating the situation. Long enough to let the audience contemplate the situation. Like, it lets the moment sink in. It lets what's happening sink in with the audience. Lets them get invested in the moment. It's like, okay, Beast is thinking about what to do right now. Now, we all know he makes the right choice in the end. Yes, but... But in that moment, Beast wasn't sure. He didn't know what to do. Should he keep Belle here so he can break the spell, or should he let her go to save her father? Now, of course, obviously, he makes the right choice and lets her go to save her father. Yes, because that's what someone in love does. They let the person go. Which, by the way, that puts a hole in that whole Stockholm Syndrome thing right there, in my opinion. You know, Stockholm Syndrome isn't love, but it's obsession and infatuation. And if Belle was really suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, she would never have left. All right, she never would have left, even for her father. That's what Stockholm Syndrome does. So yeah, that pokes a little hole in that Stockholm Syndrome theory right there in the face. Kind of shoots in the foot, but anyway. But in the live action film, Belle's like, "Oh my God, my father's in trouble." Beast is like, "You must go to him right now." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, you're not even gonna think about what's going on. You realize that you might be losing everything, right?" Now we obviously know, he obviously knows, but he doesn't take a second to think, and that's what I don't like with these characters. There's not much charisma or complexity. These characters are flat, as well as the actors' performances. Like, again, these characters are just reading lines, and the characters are just saying the lines too. It doesn't feel organic. Like I said, in the animated film, the Beast was contemplating whether to let Belle go or not. Even though that's obviously a selfish decision, the fact that he was thinking about it, that's complex. That's interesting to see. But in the live-action film, he doesn't make that complex decision. He just says, all right, go. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, come on. Aren't you going to at least think about it? Give us some genuine humanity, even though he's a monster, but, like, just to prove the point? It's like, ugh. Like, it sucks. I hated it. I hated the fact that this film did not let anything really breathe. It's not a moment that lets anything breathe, really. So yeah, that's one of the issues I have with this film. The acting is flat, the line reads are flat, and the pacing is too fast. Another problem I have with the movie. The songs. Now, okay, I love these songs, alright? These are classic songs, but Belle, a.k.a. Emma Watson, cannot sing for shit, alright? She cannot sing, alright? She sings flat. There's no sound to her. I mean, it doesn't sound good, all right? There's no, again, because there's no charisma from Emma Watson coming from this performance and all, it just doesn't really, it's not really that endearing. Like, I remember Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson from Moana, again, I'm talking about Moana, The Rock can't sing, but because of the charisma and the passion he puts in the role, like, it sounds good, it sounds enjoyable, you can listen to it. You can listen to the song that Maui sings from Moana. Like, it sounds really good. Belle here doesn't have that charisma, so as a result, it sounds like she's talking and singing at the same time. Like, it doesn't sound good. And there are even hints of auto-tuning there. That is obviously a problem. Like, seriously, why? Why do you need this? Like, and that again brings up the point of me thinking Emma Watson was not a good casting choice for Belle. You need someone that can sing. You need someone that can sing. All right? Again, no offense to Emma Watson, but she cannot sing. I'm sorry. Beast, he also can't sing. I can't remember what his name is, the guy who voices Beast, but he can't sing either. I mean, okay, he sounds great. He sounds like a great Beast. All right? He's got a good voice for him, but not singing. He can't sing either. All right? Talking, he's fine. Singing, they should have brought someone else in. It just, ugh. I mean, there are good singers in this cast. I mean, the woman they got to voice Mrs. Potts is good. Ian McKellen, when he sings, is pretty okay. The wardrobe, I can't remember her voice actress. Shit. I think her name is like... Oh, fuck. I don't remember her name is. Shit. But she's fantastic. She's a beautiful singer. Josh Gad as LeFou is a great singer. Luke Evans as Gaston. He surprised me. He's really good. Like, he's a really good singer. I was really surprised by that. But yeah, he's good. But Belle and Beast can't sing. They cannot sing, and there are hints of auto-tune in their songs, and I hate it. And like, ugh. I mean, I like these songs, but like, man, it just sucks knowing these two can't sing the songs that well. Like, fuck. It really sucks. There are also some new songs they threw in here too. There's a brief song in the beginning of the film. Like, it's before Belle. It's very brief. It's like maybe a minute long, and it takes place like when the sorceress comes in and, you know, takes everything and changes the prince into the beast and everything like that. Obviously, so yeah, there's that. There's also there's a song which Beast himself sings after Belle leaves to go get her father. He sings that for about 2.5 minutes. It's a decent number, but again, the Beast can't sing, so it doesn't. I'm not listening to it again. Again, the song itself isn't bad. It's just the fact that the singer can't sing it. That's the problem I have. There's also Ewan McGregor, who voices Lumiere. You know Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan from the Star Wars prequels? Which, by the way, what? That is the weirdest casting choice ever. I mean, he's fine, he's passable, but really? Out of all the people in the world to voice or play Lumiere, you got Obi-Wan from the prequel trilogy? Like, it just, I mean, again, not a bad actor. I'm just like, it's just the most bizarre choice to me. And again, he's fine. He's passable as Lumiere, he's fine. But he can't sing either. I'm sorry, it sucks. Again, auto-tuning, I hear it, it's just, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make much sense to me. There's also a little thing after Belle where Maurice is singing, played by Kevin Kline. I know he is. He's good. He's a good singer, I guess. He's okay. Like, he doesn't have any big numbers. He's just kind of soft singing, so it's tolerable. It's fine. That's really about it. The new songs they're fine. I mean, they're fine. The fact is that the main one is sung by Beast, who can't sing. And that's just a big issue with me. For a movie that's a musical, you expect your main two leads to sing, and they can't sing. It sucks, and they're using auto-tune. It sucks. Like, you could have totally gotten... Like, another thing, Ewan McGregor playing Lumiere can't sing, but he's voice acting. So you can get someone else to come in and do the voice for him. Like I remember Princess Jasmine from Aladdin. She got a totally different voice actress for her song. Like, the singer for Jasmine and the normal voice actor are two different people. In fact, the singer for Jasmine came on to do Mulan as well. So, again, like, you can do with that. And Beast, again, he's mostly a CGI character, honestly. Like, I remember my trailer reaction. I phrased the makeup. It looked really awesome. And yeah, there are times when it's just makeup, but there's a lot of CGI in there too. And it's like, ugh. Which brings me up to another point, but I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, it's just the fact that there's a lot of CGI in the Beast and stuff like that, and it's pretty laughably fake, and I don't like it. There's a lot of CGI in this movie. Now, sometimes the CGI works, and other times it is so fake. Like, especially during the wolf scene. Like, both wolf scenes. The scenes where the wolves attack. They're obviously very CGI wolves. Like, you couldn't spare one real animal. Like, you couldn't spare one wolf. Like, during the fights, I understand CGI, but no. The wolves are entirely CGI in this movie. I'm like, why? I mean, I don't have a problem with CGI. It's just you could have gotten some real wolf shots here and there. I don't know. I don't know. It sounds weird to me. It's probably just nitpicking, honestly, at that point. Okay, so I think that my main problem with the movie comes down to the fact that Belle and Beast have very little chemistry, like, whatsoever. Like, a lot of the dialogue they share between each other is very awkward and kind of forced. Like, there's a scene, it's when Beast gives Belle the library. Again, this is kind of awkward because it doesn't feel natural because, like I said, in the original animated film, Beast was beginning to feel feelings for her after Belle took care of him and healed his injuries after being attacked by the wolves and stuff like that. He begins to feel the feelings for her and stuff like that. So he talks to Cogsworth and Lumiere and saying, what should I do for her? I want to do something for her. And he's like, and so he decides to give her a library. But in this movie, he says, oh, you like books? Well, here, just have it. And that's how it is. It feels like, he's like, here, just have a fucking library. Who cares? It doesn't feel romantic. It doesn't feel nice. It just kind of feels like, whatever, just have it. I don't care. And then they share this one line that's really awkward and stuff. It's like, Belle's like, have you read all these books before? And the Beast is like, not all of them. Some of them are in Greek. And then Belle laughs at it, apparently, and says, oh, have you, oh, are you telling jokes now? And he's like, maybe. It's like, no. That does not feel right. That just did not feel right by me. It felt kind of awkward. It felt really awkward to me. It didn't feel romantic. It didn't feel witty. It just felt, nah. So then we see a few scenes of them kind of just walking around the castle, really, just doing things. Like, we see them in dinner, and again, there's nothing about that. And, I don't know. There's just, they kind of just walk around the castle, and that's really about it. I mean, they talk about things, but nothing really interesting. They kind of just talk about they just kind of talk about books, really. Like, that's really it. It's like, Beast talks about how he likes Shakespeare, and Belle talks about how this one book she really likes, and that's really about it. It's like, there's nothing really, it's like, again, it shows more about why these characters are so flat. Like, Beast is supposed to be this misunderstood character, but he likes books. Belle is supposed to be this misunderstood character, but she likes books. Together! It's like, I don't know. In the original animated film, Belle was a lot more complex and interesting than that, and so was the Beast, because, again, he often had thoughts. Again, the movie loved to sit down and let moments sink in. Like, there's another moment, like, it's like after the Beast tried to get Belle to come down to dinner with him, the Beast goes up to his room, and he brings up the mirror and says, show me the girl. And I remember in the animated film, he actually talks to himself and saying, like, it's no use, she'll never fall in love with me. But in this movie, he doesn't say anything, and it doesn't really focus on him that long. It kind of just cuts back to Belle right away after he's done looking at her. It's like, really? You're not going to sit there and let it sit there for a second? Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel that. It just, again, it feels forced and it feels really rushed to me. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, there's also a scene later in the movie where the Beast gives her a magical book they have, which apparently they have that allows them to go anywhere they want to. So again, the idea of a thought. So Belle goes to Paris, and we find out what happened to Belle's mom. Which, yeah, that's a thing in this movie. We find out Belle had a thing for her mom. We find out, well, okay, not a romantic thing. I know I made it sound weird, but no, she never knew what happened to her mom. So, and they find out together what happened to her mom. I won't spoil what happens, but yeah. And I guess Beast kind of has a connection from that. They figure out more of her backstory. I don't know. Like, again, it doesn't feel romantic. It doesn't feel like it really connects them that well. It just kind of feels like, well, Belle never had a mom, so let's do something with the mom, I guess. I don't know. It felt weird. And yeah, that's kind of what a lot of these moments feel like. And when the big ballroom scene comes in, when they're finally sitting down, dancing and stuff like that, it never felt organic. It never felt like these two really were invested in each other. Because, again, the lines are flat, the actors are flat, and the pacing is so fast. It just doesn't feel fresh. It doesn't feel organic to me. I never once believed these two were in love. They had a relationship. It just didn't feel natural to me. And for a movie about Beauty and the Beast, you figured that'd be the most important thing. That's all I gotta say about it. Oh, but the one thing that pissed me off the most, was the ending. Alright, now, you know how the film ends. Alright, Beast gets hurt, Gaston dies, that's how everything goes on. But, oh my god, does the stupidest shit happen. Instead of, so, when Belle pretty much says to the Beast that she loves him, the last petal had already fallen. That's what happened. Like, in the animated film, Belle was able to tell the Beast she loved him before the final rose petal fell. That filled the curse. But in this movie, no. The last petal already fell. Everyone's already turning into inanimate objects already. It's happening. That's what's pretty much going on. Yeah. And, yeah. Shit. Like, but at the last second, oh my god, after everyone already died, the sorceress comes back and undoes her spell herself. Like, no! No, fuck you, movie. That is stupid. That is fucking retarded. Alright? That is just the stupidest thing ever. Like, come on. Like, what was wrong with the original ending? Like, it was beautiful the way it ended. Like, you can have everybody begin to turn into an inanimate object, that's fine, but no, there's a reason why Belle says I love you before the last petal fell, because that was what's important. That the beast succeeded. But no, you robbed the beast's success away from him. Like, God, it pissed me off so fucking much. I thought that was the stupidest thing ever, to have the sorceress just come back in and fix everything. Like, oh, no. No, I hated it so much. Let's see, what else is there to talk about? I mean, the CGI is pretty okay in other places. Like I said, the ballroom scene looks really nice. Be Our Guest is a nice scene to look at. Like I said, the film looks nice. It is a beautiful looking film. But again, none of that matters if the characters are boring. The characters are flat, the acting is flat, the pacing is too fast, nothing ever gets to feel right, it never feels organic. I mean, I tried to make everything feel right. I try to pretty much make my point clear. But this film doesn't feel organic to me. Now, okay, the biggest argument you can give this movie is that it's pointless. And yeah, live action adaptations, in my opinion, are pointless. Alright, I didn't like Cinderella, I didn't like Jungle Book, and I didn't like this movie, alright? Cinderella, I thought was too boring. Alright, Jungle Book, I thought the characters weren't that interesting. There was no real bond between the characters, which was a big flaw. That's what made the original animated film so compelling, was the bond between the characters. Like, again, and the problem comes from this movie, too. The characters are flat. They're not interesting whatsoever. The romance isn't fresh. I mean, it's not like it's unbelievable. It's not like anything in this movie is god-awful or terrible or anything like that. It's just it doesn't feel fresh or organic. It doesn't feel real to me. It doesn't feel like it's well-developed. That's the problem with this movie. And so, you know, I think that's probably the reason why I don't really like these live-action adaptations. I think they're cheating in a way when it comes to character development. Like, you know, these are live-action adaptations to animated films that we already know and love. It's like, so these films kind of take that as an excuse. You know, like, they don't need to make another animated. They don't need to develop these characters. They don't need to establish who these people are, really. It's like the movie already pretty much exists. We're just bringing it to life in live action. So there's no real need to establish these characters or make them feel like the original characters from the animated film. And I say, bullshit! You need to establish these characters because this is a movie for a new generation who needs to see this. And like I said, again, I think it's stupid to try and re-adaptate these animated films into live action. But if you're gonna do it, then do it right. Do it good. I don't know. I don't know. Like, again, I think it's pointless, but if you're going to do it right. Establish these characters, make them interesting. Because the best part about Beauty and the Beast was the fact that the two characters and their romance was entirely believable. Like, Beauty and the Beast is a very amazing romance. It's two characters coming together. Like, it's like these two characters who are outsiders, who are outcast in both of their worlds. Like, Belle is strange in her world. The Beast was strange in his world. But in different ways. Like, Belle was obviously, she's interested in books when she should be interested in her looks, because that's how women are. The Beast is rich and pampered, but he's a complete dick. And these two come together and they find what they're looking for. Like, the Beast wants to be happy, but he's not happy with money and stuff like that, so that's why he's a spoiled, rotten brat. And Belle wants adventure and everything like that. And they come together and they find what they're looking for. The Beast becomes well-mannered and kind, and Belle gets the adventure she's looking for. And it's just how happens they found it in the place they weren't expecting. And that's what makes Beauty and the Beast so romantic, so beautiful, is these two people from two different worlds who are outsiders in their worlds coming together and making their own world together. That's what's really romantic about it. You know, and especially when it comes to the climax, because then Gaston comes and tries to tear him apart, tries to destroy that little world, and everything like that. And, you know, and Belle comes in and says, no, you're not going to destroy our world. And the spell breaks and they're happily ever after. Like, it works so perfectly. And this film just fails at capturing that spirit. It just, because these two main characters are not interesting, they're acted flat, the actors are flat, The lines are rushed. The pacing is rushed. All in all, I didn't like this movie. I just didn't like it. Like I said, it's not god-awful or terrible. There's nothing really that insulting about this movie. The CGI is fine. Some of the actors are okay, too. Like, again, other actors are fine. It's just the main two leads that are flat. It's kind of like Star Wars Rogue One in a way. The main two leads were flat in that movie, too. But, again, nothing awful. Everyone else was okay. Like I said, but with Star Wars Rogue One, that was an original story. But this is an adaptation of one of the best films ever made. You can argue it's one of the best movies ever made. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Beauty and the Beast, the 2017 live-action adaptation. I know this review is all over the place, but I had a lot to say about it. I didn't like it. Again, I don't hate the movie. I just think it's pointless, and I think it fails in capturing the spirit of the original. I mean, it just did, because the main two leads are boring, their actors are flat, the lines aren't well read. Like, there's no passion put behind these line reads. The singers can't sing. I didn't like the movie. I'm sorry. I know it's probably going to piss off a lot of people, because I know a lot of people really do like the movie, and I'm sure a lot of you really like, oh no, Beauty and the Beast is the best movie ever, but I'm sorry. I just didn't like it. I couldn't get into it at all. So, yeah. With that being said, what did y'all think about Beauty and the Beast? Did you actually really like it? Do you think it's a great adaptation, or do you think it's just as shitty as I thought it was? So yeah, let me know what you thought below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I appreciate it. Subscribe today for more reviews. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. That is if you're not horribly pissed off at me more. So stay awesome, guys. Rock on.